welcome back to our channel. Rare coins that could make you rich, start searching today. The USA in 1968 1-cent penny, just a simple piece of currency, right? Well, to most people, it might seem like a run-of-the-mill penny, but in the world of coin collecting, this seemingly humble coin has a remarkable story to tell. When you take a closer look, you'll discover that the 1968 penny isn't just any other penny. It's a part of a larger narrative, a piece of American history, and, believe it or not, it can be worth far more than you might expect. Now, imagine finding a 1968 penny buried in a jar or hidden in an old coin collection. On the surface, it might seem insignificant, but did you know that in the right conditions, this coin can fetch a staggering amount of money? That's right, today, a certain 1968 penny is worth $145,000. But how did a 1-cent coin from 1968 become a prized collector's item? What makes this penny so special that collectors are willing to pay such a high price for it? In this video, we'll uncover the mystery behind the 1968 1-cent penny, exploring its historical significance, the process of its minting, its design, and the rare characteristics that make it so valuable. We'll also dive into what makes certain 1968 pennies worth so much more than face value and how you can identify them if you're lucky enough to come across one. Let's begin by understanding the time in which the 1968 penny was minted. The 1960s were a time of great change in the United States. The country was in the midst of cultural upheaval, with the civil rights movement gaining momentum, the Vietnam War intensifying, and the world witnessing groundbreaking advancements in technology and space exploration. It was an era where history was being written, and the coinage that was being minted at the time reflected those turbulent years. The U.S. Mint was under pressure to keep up with the economic demands of the growing population. This era was marked by the transition to more modernized methods of coin production. The 1968 penny, which features the profile of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and a shielded wheat stalk reverse, known as the wheat penny, was part of a larger tradition of circulating coins that had been a fixture in American daily life for decades. However, in 1968, something crucial happened that would shape the fate of these coins for years to come. The U.S. Mint made a significant change in the composition of the penny. For the first time, copper was replaced by a copper-plated zinc composition in the production of the penny. This change had profound implications for the coin's appearance, durability, and long-term collectability. The 1968 penny was also the last year that the wheat stalk design appeared on the reverse of the coin. After 1968, the U.S. Mint replaced it with the Lincoln Memorial design, which would remain in circulation for decades. This shift in design marked the end of an era, and the 1968 penny became a symbol of the transition from the old to the new, from tradition to modernity. Now, let's zoom in on the design details of the 1968 penny. On the obverse, we see the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, immortalized on U.S. coins since 1909. The portrait of Lincoln, sculpted by Victor David Brenner, is one of the most iconic images in American coinage. Surrounding the portrait are the words, "Liberty," and, "In God We Trust," as well as the year, 1968, which denotes the coin's minting year. On the reverse of the coin, we find the wheat stalk design that had been in place since 1909. Two stalks of wheat flank the words, E pluribus unum, and beneath that, the words, United States of America, and 1 cent. The simple yet elegant design of the wheat stalks was meant to symbolize the strength and abundance of the American agricultural industry, a tribute to the country's agricultural roots. But while the coin itself is steeped in historical significance, it's the rare qualities of certain 1968 pennies that have caught the attention of collectors. The most notable of these is the 1968 penny struck at the San Francisco Mint with the S mint mark. It was part of the first year in a series of proof coins minted at San Francisco, and these coins were intended for collectors rather than for circulation. However, things became even more interesting when it was discovered that some of these 1968 pennies were minted with an error. A small number of these coins were struck with a double die obverse, meaning that the design was imprinted twice on the coin, causing a noticeable doubling effect on the date and inscriptions. These error coins, though rare, quickly became highly sought after by collectors due to their uniqueness. As the years passed, the number of available 1968 double die pennies dwindled, and their value began to climb. For a while, they were still relatively affordable, but as interest in coin collecting continued to grow in the 1990s and beyond, prices for these rare error pennies began to soar. Today, a 1968 penny with the double die obverse error can be worth as much as $145,000, depending on its condition and the specifics of the error. So, what exactly makes these 1968 pennies worth so much? It all boils down to a combination of rarity, historical context, and error characteristics. Coins with double die errors are among the most highly prized in the world of numismatics, and the 1968 penny is no exception. The fact that this coin represents the final year of the wheat stock design, along with the transition to a new minting process, makes it a perfect storm for collectors. Now, let's talk about how you can spot a valuable 1968 penny. When you're searching for rare and valuable coins, condition is key. The higher the grade of a coin, the more valuable it is. The 1968 double die error pennies that are in mint or near mint condition are the ones that fetch the highest prices. However, you'll want to look closely at the details on the obverse of the coin. If you notice any doubling of the date or inscriptions like "Liberty" or "In God We Trust," you might have found a true treasure. Collectors typically send these error coins to professional grading services, where the coins are examined and assigned a grade based on their condition. The higher the grade, the higher the potential value. In the case of the 1968 double die error penny, a coin in excellent condition with a grade of MS 65 or higher can easily sell for over $100,000. But it's not just the double die pennies that have value. Even regular 1968 pennies in good condition can be worth more than their face value, especially if they have the S mint mark or are in uncirculated condition. The rarity of these coins has led to increasing demand over the years, and that demand has driven up prices, making the 1968 penny one of the most valuable coins from the late 20th century. As the years go by and fewer of these rare and valuable pennies are found, their price will only continue to rise. For collectors, owning a 1968 double die penny is more than just having a piece of history. It's a sound investment in a coin that has stood the test of time and will only become more sought after as the years pass. So, next time you come across a 1968 penny, take a moment to examine it carefully. What might seem like just another piece of change could very well be a piece of numismatic history worth far more than you ever imagined. Whether you're a seasoned coin collector or just starting your journey, the world of rare coins offers endless opportunities to discover treasures like the 1968 1-cent penny. By the end of this video, you'll have a deeper appreciation for the fascinating world of coin collecting and the incredible value that can be hidden in plain sight. And who knows? You might just have a 1968 penny sitting in your change jar that could one day be worth $145,000. The USA 1976 1-cent penny, to many, it may appear just like any other penny circulating in everyday transactions, but to the dedicated numismatist, it's so much more. In fact, it's a coin steeped in history, cultural significance, and rare features that have propelled its value into the tens of thousands of dollars today. Believe it or not, this penny, minted in 1976, is worth as much as $134,000 under the right circumstances. You might be wondering, what makes this particular penny so valuable? After all, the 1976 penny looks almost identical to every other penny in your pocket, but there's more to the story than meets the eye. Join me on a journey as we uncover the rich history, fascinating design, and surprising value of the 1976 1-cent penny. We'll look at the socio-political context in which it was created, explore the details of its minting process, and discover the rare and valuable pennies that can fetch extraordinary prices at auction. So, how did a simple 1-cent coin come to be worth such a small fortune? To understand that, we need to take a step back in time and look at the events of the 1970s, a decade that would shape the destiny of the 1976 penny and, unbeknownst to most, turn it into a prized collectible. The year 1976 was a milestone year for the United States. It marked the 200th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence, a year of celebrations, events, and national pride. Bicentennial fever swept the nation as Americans prepared to commemorate the 2 centuries since the birth of the United States of America. Across the country, families, communities, and cities celebrated the historical moment with parades, fireworks, and various festivities. For coin collectors, 1976 wasn't just about the bicentennial celebrations, it was also the year that the U.S. Mint released a special series of coins to commemorate the 200th anniversary of American independence. These coins, including the quarter, half dollar, and dollar, featured unique designs meant to reflect the nation's revolutionary past. However, amidst all the special releases, the humble 1-cent penny was still circulating, and little did the public know that the 1976 penny would soon become part of that very special moment in American history. It was during this year that the U.S. Mint began a transition to new coinage to coincide with the bicentennial, and while the penny didn't change dramatically in its design, certain rare errors would soon emerge, setting the stage for an incredible value spike. The design of the 1976 penny was, for the most part, unchanged from the previous years, continuing to feature the classic image of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse. This iconic image, first designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909, shows Lincoln's profile in profile, along with the words, "Liberty," and the inscription, "In God We Trust," which has appeared on all U.S. coins since 1864. The 1976 penny also carries the year of minting, 1976, as part of its design. The reverse of the coin, however, is where things get interesting. While the 1976 penny retains the familiar wheat ears on the back, which had been used in coinage from 1909 to 1958, something special happened in 1976. Due to the celebrations for America's bicentennial, a few pennies from this year were minted with subtle design changes. This shift in design elements across other coins that year was part of a larger movement to mark the bicentennial anniversary, but not every coin minted in 1976 saw the same level of change. This didn't immediately make the 1976 penny rare, but there were certain unique versions, such as the ones that weren't minted in large quantities, that would become highly sought after in the years to come. Collectors began to take note, particularly of small details like mint marks, the specific location of strikes, and subtle changes in how the coins were produced. In 1976, as in other years, pennies were struck at multiple U.S. Mint facilities, including the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint. One of the key factors in determining the coin's value is the mint mark, which is a small letter on the obverse of the coin that identifies where it was struck. Coins from the Philadelphia Mint typically don't have a mint mark, while coins from the Denver Mint feature a small D mint mark. As time passed, some minting errors emerged, increasing the coin's potential value. One such error, though relatively uncommon, is the famous 1976 double die penny, where the coin features a noticeable doubling of certain letters and numbers, particularly the "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" inscriptions. These double die pennies are rare and highly prized by collectors, as they reflect an error in the minting process. While most 1976 pennies are still worth just 1 cent, a few rare, error-struck coins, particularly those with the double die feature, are worth thousands, with some reaching the price of $134,000 in the right condition. It's no surprise that collectors have turned their attention to the 1976 1-cent penny over the years. For coin enthusiasts, there's something inherently attractive about a coin that was struck during such an iconic period in American history. Add in the rare errors, and you have a recipe for a highly collectible coin. The popularity of bicentennial-themed coins in general has only increased with time, and the 1976 penny is no exception. It's a coin that evokes a sense of nostalgia and pride for many Americans, particularly for those who have an interest in the country's history, and for those who want to own a piece of that history. But, like with all rare coins, condition is everything. Coins that are in excellent or mint condition are significantly more valuable than those that are heavily worn or damaged. A 1976 penny in pristine condition could be worth thousands of dollars, while an error coin like the double die penny could fetch even higher prices. Now, here's where it gets exciting: the value of certain 1976 pennies. As mentioned earlier, the 1976 penny is generally worth just 1 cent, but if you happen to find one of the rare double die error coins, your penny could be worth a small fortune. In fact, the most valuable 1976 1-cent penny, one that's in pristine condition and features the rare double die error, has sold for a staggering $134,000 at auction. That's a far cry from the coin's original face value, and it just goes to show that in the world of coin collecting, rarity, historical significance, and condition are everything. Collectors are always on the lookout for rare coins, and with the 1976 penny, it's not just about owning a piece of history, it's about the thrill of the hunt and the potential for an incredible find. For many, the idea of stumbling across a coin worth a six-figure sum is enough to keep them searching through change jars, coin rolls, and old collections. So, the next time you see a 1976 penny in your pocket or come across one in your change, take a closer look. What may seem like just another penny might actually be a valuable piece of history waiting to be discovered. Whether you're a seasoned coin collector or just starting out, keep an eye out for those rare finds that could one day be worth more than you ever imagined. Who knows? Maybe you'll find that 1976 double-die penny, and in a few years, it could be worth $134,000 or more. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos about rare coins and their fascinating histories. The USA in 1985 1-cent penny. To many, it's just another penny. But what if I told you that this humble, everyday coin could be worth as much as $122,000? Sounds unbelievable, right? A penny, worth just 1 cent on its own, could bring in such a hefty sum? You might be wondering, what makes this penny so special? Well, stick with me, and we're about to explore the fascinating story behind the 1985 1-cent penny, its incredible design, the history behind its minting, the rare versions that make it so valuable, and just how a single penny could be worth more than your wildest expectations. Let's first set the stage and understand the 1985 penny in the context of its time. The mid-1980s was a decade of change, both socially and politically, in the United States. The country was experiencing economic shifts, the Cold War was nearing its final stages, and Ronald Reagan was in the middle of his second term as president. The 1985 penny, like most coins during this time, was a reflection of a country that was evolving yet still holding on to its past. In terms of coinage, there was little difference in the design of the penny from the previous years. The classic design featuring Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, remained unchanged since 1909. But while the design was familiar, there was something that set the 1985 penny apart. It was minted during a time when changes were quietly brewing in the world of numismatics. Little did collectors know, certain pennies from 1985 would eventually be worth far more than their face value. As we fast forward to today, we realize that the 1985 penny is now considered a rare collectible, especially in certain conditions and variations. But to understand why, we need to explore the finer details, what makes the 1985 penny unique, and what factors have led it to be so highly sought after. When you take a look at the 1985 penny, you'll notice that the coin retains the iconic image of Abraham Lincoln. This image was created by the artist Victor David Brenner and has been the hallmark of the penny since it was first issued in 1909. On the obverse, the front side of the coin, we see Lincoln's profile, with the words, "Liberty" and, "In God We Trust," engraved around it. Below Lincoln's portrait is the year, 1985, which, at first glance, might seem like an ordinary piece of coinage, but it's not the design itself that makes this penny worth so much. It's the small but significant details that, when overlooked, could make or break the coin's value. For example, one of the most important factors in determining the value of a penny is the condition it's in. The more pristine the coin, the higher its value. However, there's another factor at play: rare minting errors. On the reverse side of the 1985 penny, you'll find the familiar wheat ears surrounding the phrase, e pluribus unum, and the coin's denomination of 1 cent. While this design remained unchanged from the previous decades, certain flaws and errors in the minting process would eventually make the 1985 penny a sought-after treasure among collectors. The 1985 1-cent penny was struck at several U.S. mint facilities, with coins being minted in both Philadelphia and Denver. Coins from the Philadelphia Mint do not have a mint mark, while coins from the Denver Mint feature a small D mint mark. While this may seem like a minor detail, the difference between a coin being minted in Philadelphia or Denver can have a significant impact on its rarity and value. One of the key aspects that collectors look for in a coin like the 1985 penny is the quality of its strike. A high-quality strike means the design elements on the coin are clearly defined and well executed, making it more attractive and valuable. However, as the coins are struck in large quantities, many of them end up with flaws, such as weak strikes, misalignments, or even unusual characteristics that stem from the minting process itself. What makes the 1985 penny particularly exciting for collectors are the potential errors that were made during its production. These minting errors, such as double dies or off-center strikes, can drastically increase a penny's value. In particular, one error in the 1985 penny series stands out as a key example of just how valuable this seemingly ordinary coin can be. What truly sets the 1985 penny apart from other years is the appeal it holds for collectors. For decades, the penny had been overlooked by most. However, as the years passed and collectors grew more interested in finding rare coins, attention shifted toward the 1985 series. Collectors who had initially brushed off the penny as just another coin in circulation began to pay closer attention to the nuances and variations that set certain 1985 pennies apart. One of the most coveted varieties of the 1985 penny is the double die error, which happens when the coin is struck more than once during the minting process. This can result in a noticeable doubling of the letters and numbers on the coin. In the case of the 1985 penny, the most common doubling is found in the "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" inscriptions. This error is rare, and finding one of these coins in excellent condition can significantly boost its value. The excitement surrounding the 1985 penny grew as collectors began to realize the rarity of certain variations. A coin that was once worth only 1 cent could now command a premium if it was discovered to be an error coin. In addition, some 1985 pennies are simply more difficult to find in good condition, as many were circulated and wore down over time. Those that have survived in pristine or near-perfect condition are highly coveted, with collectors willing to pay a premium for a well-preserved example. **** The value of the 1985 penny ***. So, what's the big reveal? How much is the USA 1985 penny really worth? The value of a standard 1985 penny is, of course, just 1 cent. However, the story changes dramatically when you factor in those rare, high-quality examples and error coins. The most valuable 1985 penny, the double die variety, has sold for upwards of $122,000 at auction, depending on the condition and rarity of the coin. This is no small amount for a coin that was originally produced with a value of just 1 cent. While such an extraordinary value may seem far-fetched, it highlights how important it is for collectors to identify and seek out these unique pieces of history. Even if you don't find a double die error penny, you may still have a valuable 1985 penny in your collection. Coins that are in mint condition, free from scratches or damage, can fetch thousands of dollars, especially if they were struck at the Denver Mint or have other unique features that make them stand out. The USA 1985 1-cent penny is a prime example of how a seemingly ordinary coin can turn into an extraordinary collectible. With its deep historical roots, simple yet iconic design, and rare error varieties, the 1985 penny has become a highly sought-after item for numismatists and collectors alike. What started as a humble penny has, through the years, become a coin of great value and significance. Whether you're a seasoned coin collector or a casual enthusiast, the 1985 penny is a reminder of the thrill that comes with discovering rare and valuable coins that were once overlooked. So, the next time you're going through your spare change, keep an eye out for that elusive 1985 penny. Who knows? You may have just found yourself a piece of history worth far more than you could have ever imagined. The United States 1-cent penny, a coin that's almost as American as apple pie. We see it every day, with millions of pennies in circulation, yet there's a particular one from 2008 that may change the way you look at your pocket change. Yes, the 2008 1-cent penny is a true gem in the world of coin collecting. At first glance, it may seem like just another common penny, but hold on to your seat, because this coin is worth far more than its 1-cent face value. In fact, the 2008 1-cent penny, with the right characteristics, could potentially be worth up to $112,000. Unbelievable? Well, it's true. Stick around as we explore the history, design, minting details, and what makes this penny so highly sought after by collectors. And, of course, at the end, I'll reveal how much one lucky collector paid for this rare coin. You won't believe it. In the year 2008, the United States was in the middle of a transformative period. The country was reeling from the effects of the housing crisis, and economic uncertainty loomed large. Meanwhile, the United States Mint was busy making subtle yet significant changes to the nation's coinage. It was a pivotal year for American currency, and the 1-cent penny of 2008 would end up reflecting this era of economic turbulence. At the time, the mint was working on a variety of new designs for its circulating coins, as part of the State Quarters program and the Lincoln Bicentennial series, which would begin in 2009. But the 2008 penny, featuring the familiar image of Abraham Lincoln, was simply a continuation of the traditional coin design. However, what collectors didn't know at the time was that certain small variations would make the 2008 penny one of the most valuable pennies ever to be found. Now, let's take a closer look at the design. The 2008 penny retained the same design that has been iconic for over a century, the portrait of Abraham Lincoln, sculpted by Victor David Brenner. This design has graced the penny since it was first issued in 1909, celebrating Lincoln's centennial. On the obverse, the front side of the coin, we find Lincoln's profile in a simple yet powerful portrait. The words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" encircle his likeness, along with the year 2008, which immediately identifies the coin as part of that year's minting. As with every year, the reverse, the back side, features the iconic 1-cent engraving, with a depiction of 2 ears of wheat, a symbol that dates back to 1909. The familiar phrase, E pluribus unum, also adorns the reverse of the coin, maintaining its role as a reminder of the nation's unity. But this classic design would soon be overshadowed by the presence of rare minting errors that made certain 2008 pennies particularly valuable. These errors are what collectors search for when looking to find their fortune. The U.S. Mint produces millions of pennies every year, and the 2008 penny was no exception. These coins were struck at 2 major U.S. Mint facilities, the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint. Pennies from Philadelphia do not bear a mint mark, while pennies from Denver carry the D mint mark. These mint marks are important to collectors, as coins from certain mints tend to be rarer than others. In 2008, the U.S. Mint faced challenges in keeping up with the demand for coins, as the rising cost of copper and zinc had made penny production more expensive. Despite this, the mint continued to produce the familiar copper-plated zinc pennies, striking them in large quantities to satisfy the demand for change. While the vast majority of the 2008 pennies were minted without issue, there were some rare mistakes that would set the coin apart in the years to come. Many of these coins were made with subtle errors that were unnoticed by the average consumer but would later be recognized by collectors as valuable anomalies. It's safe to say that the appeal of coins like the 2008 penny grows significantly over time. To most people, a penny is worth just 1 cent, but to collectors, a single penny could be worth far more if it's rare enough. The value of a coin depends on several factors, but in the case of the 2008 penny, minting errors and the overall condition of the coin are what make it especially valuable. One of the most important elements that collectors look for in a 2008 penny is the condition of the coin. Coins that have been circulated and handled over time often suffer from wear and tear, reducing their value. However, pennies that have been well preserved and remain in mint condition are far more valuable. A pristine 2008 penny, with its original luster and no visible scratches or damage, could sell for a significant amount more than its face value. Of course, the real treasure lies in the rare errors that occurred during the minting process. These errors can come in many forms, from doubled dies to off-center strikes, and these anomalies are often what make a coin truly valuable. The 2008 penny has seen its share of these rare errors, which has increased its collector appeal. One of the most sought-after varieties of the 2008 penny is the 2008 D double die penny. This coin is known for having doubling in the design, particularly in the "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" inscriptions. This error occurred due to a misalignment during the minting process, resulting in the doubling effect. The coin's rarity, coupled with its unique appearance, has made it one of the most valuable pennies from that year. So, how much is the 2008 penny really worth? While a standard 2008 penny in average condition is worth just 1 cent, rare varieties, particularly those with double die errors or in near mint or mint condition, can fetch impressive amounts. These pennies have been known to sell for hundreds, thousands, and even more, depending on the quality of the coin. One of the most remarkable sales of a 2008 penny occurred at a major auction, where a high-quality, error-free penny from that year sold for a staggering $112,000. Yes, you heard that right, a single penny worth just 1 cent could sell for over $100,000. The penny in question was a rare double die variety, and its outstanding condition made it the perfect example of how a mistake at the mint could turn an ordinary penny into a collector's dream. The value of these rare pennies is only expected to rise as time goes on. As more collectors become aware of the potential worth of certain pennies, the market for them will continue to grow, and these error coins may become even more valuable. So, there you have it, the 2008 1-cent penny, an unassuming coin that has become a prized collectible. Whether you're a seasoned collector or a casual numismatist, it's important to keep your eyes peeled for these rare varieties. The 2008 penny, especially the double die version, is proof that sometimes, even the smallest mistake can lead to incredible value. If you're lucky enough to have a 2008 penny in your collection, take a closer look. It might just be your ticket to a windfall. And if you're out there searching through your spare change, remember, that 1 cent could be worth far more than you ever imagined. So next time you see a 2008 penny in your pocket, you might want to give it a second glance. Who knows? You might be holding onto a rare piece of history that's worth far more than just 1 cent.